As dusk settled, the air grew colder, and the sky faded into a deepening twilight. A dark velvet stretched overhead, speckled with glimmering stars. Jacob's weary eyes searched the distant horizon, hoping to find a place to rest. His journey had been long, and every step now throbbed with fatigue. There wasn't a glimmer of light to be seen, not a town, not a single torch, nothing perched on a hill to offer refuge. He stood alone, truly and entirely alone. The distant howls of wolves echoed through the night, sending a tingle of unease through his legs. He clenched his tangled curls with both hands, frustration simmering beneath his breath. Why am I even here? Is this really the right path? Did I ruin everything before it ever had a chance to begin? No voice answered from above. The wind offered no comfort, only silence. Jacob lowered his head, defeated the weight of the journey, pressing down on his shoulders. His body was drained, his eyes heavy not just with exhaustion, but with sorrow. Above him stretched a vast indigo sky, flecked with cold stars that shimmered like frozen shards. A crescent moon hung low, its faint light casting haunting shadows over the landscape and outlining the sharp forms of distant mountains. From his quiet perch on the hill, Jacob looked out. His grandfather had called this place Lusaland-shaped. By age and struggle, its stones worn smooth by wind and rain through countless generations. The land seemed to whisper stories through its silence, marked by forgotten footsteps, rusted tins, and carvings nearly erased by time. Long ago, in the days of his ancestors, this region had been a crossroads, a meeting place for traders and wanderers. The winding paths were once alive with caravans bearing eastern spices, southern metals, and northern grain. These ancient roots had woven cultures together, blending commerce and tradition into something rich and enduring. Now, those paths lay quiet, lucid slipped into obscurity, left behind by time. Jacob wondered if Abraham's promise had faded the same way, lost, ignored, forgotten. Would the legacy die with him? He found a smooth, flat stone nearby and placed it beneath his head, lying down on the cold, unyielding earth. No, it was. Hard, the stone brought a strange sense of steadiness, anchoring him to the present amid the storm of thoughts swirling in his mind. He lay caught between what had been and what could be, burdened by his past and reaching for a future still unseen. In the silence, with the stars overhead and doubts pressing in, Jacob waited for rest, for answers. For something more in this liminal space between consciousness and dream, Jacob slipped into a deep, visionless sleep, the world around him slowly faded, the sharp edges of reality dissolving as a new, vivid dream took shape. The darkness of night thickened around him, shadows growing dense and nearly physical. The air stilled, cloaked in an expectant silence, broken only by the soft, rhythmic whisper of wind weaving through the rocky outcrops, and the distant, solitary call of an owl echoing into the void. Then, Jacob's eyes opened not to the landscape he knew, but to a scene drenched in the surreal. He stood at the base of a towering staircase that soared upward, vanishing into the endless sky above. The steps were forged from a luminous stone that seemed to glow from within, each one wrapped in a soft golden light that shimmered like moonlight dancing on still water. Though firm beneath him, the staircase appeared dreamlike, as if sculpted from light and sanctity itself. A sense of wonder overwhelmed him. What is this place? He thought. Compelled by the glow radiating from the summit, Jacob moved toward the steps, drawn by a yearning he couldn't explain. But just as he approached, a procession of angels appeared, flowing past him in both directions, ascending and descending with serene purpose. Celestial music filled the air, delicate and distant, like the chiming of bells or the graceful tones of a lyre. Their voices wove through the melody in a language. It's ancient and sacred for human understanding. The very air seemed alive with divine energy. Pulsing with the echoes of sacred hymns and countless unspoken prayers, the angels moved with effortless grace, clothed in radiant robes that shimmered like liquid silver. Each bore a distinct visage, marked by calm wisdom and luminous eyes that burned with holy fire. Their wings stirred the air only slightly, leaving glowing trails in their path. and as they moved, tendrils of living color cascaded from above, their brightness nearly too intense to bear. A wave of reverence swept through Jacob, flooding his chest with awe. His heart pounded not from fear, but from the overwhelming sense that he stood in the presence of something far beyond himself. His knees trembled, and he instinctively bowed his head, shielding his eyes from the brilliance. Am I going to die? Or be transformed? He wondered. At this moment, either feels possible, then from deep within, a warmth began to rise, subtle at first, then powerful, spreading through his limbs and into his chest, calming his fear and filling him with the absolute certainty that he was not alone. Slowly, Jacob looked up. Standing beside him was a figure, a divine presence unlike anything he had ever seen. The voice that followed shook the air and trembled through his very bones. It wasn't just heard, it was felt. The voice sounded like crashing waves and gentle breezes, roaring fire and rustling leaves all at once. It was majestic and intimate, terrifying and soothing. I am the one who exists. The figure said, the God of Abraham, your grandfather, and the God of Isaac, your father. You're here, Jacob whispered, overwhelmed. You're really here? Lift your eyes, son of Isaac, the voice continued. Behold the beauty of this land. And as Jacob turned his gaze outward, the night revealed a vast, star-soaked landscape, breathtaking and filled with divine promise. Asterisk, asterisk. The light from the celestial staircase poured over the landscape, revealing rich, vibrant valleys carved by rushing rivers and bordered by lush green forests. It was the land beneath Jacob's very body, living, breathing, and full of promise. And then the voice spoke again, calm and unwavering. The ground where you lie, I will give to you and your descendants. Your offspring will be as countless as the dust of the earth, and you will spread in every direction, west, east, north, and south. Through you and your lineage, every family on earth will find blessing. Jacob's lips parted, but the words faltered. You've blessed me, he whispered, his voice tangled in uncertainty. I didn't know. I wasn't sure if... The rest caught in his throat. He was overcome. Part of him wanted to believe, wanted to stand tall in the light of such a promise. But another part remembered who he was. A deceiver. A usurper. The one who tricked his way into the very blessing he now carried. It almost didn't seem right that the Almighty would extend such grace to someone like him. And yet, the voice continued, filled with unwavering authority and compassion. Know this, I am with you. Wherever you go, I will protect you. You may leave this land, I will bring you back. I will not abandon you until all I have spoken is fulfilled. In that moment, Jacob awoke abruptly, his chest rising and falling in sharp, uneven breaths. The remnants of the vision clung to his thoughts, vivid and real. He sat up slowly, his gaze sweeping across the land. This was the place, the very soil God had promised. Not just to Abraham, not just to Isaac, not to Esau or to future generations. To him, Jacob, the trickster, the flawed one. God had spoken, and somehow impossibly the promise now rested with him.